Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Two Tones here, and in today's video, guys, we are going to be talking about a brand new point of interest that I've come up with recently, talking with my girlfriend about it, and we were like, what's a cool spot or a cool name for a spot with a cool concept that could be added to the Fortnite map? And that's what this video is about, guys. If you've seen the thumbnail, you already know, but that it is the Wild West. Now, it's perfect alliteration, just like every other point on the map. Tilted Towers, Salty Springs, Snobby Shores, fucking Lonely Lodge, all of them, Lucky Landing, like, they all run on alliteration, and literally Wild West is the perfect, most iconic alliteration that there is in the world, in my opinion, especially if you live in America. You can all agree with me there. But we're just going to be talking about this today, guys, so if you are brand new to the channel, make sure you're subscribing for more daily content, and make sure that you are turning on those post notifications so that you never miss when I go live or post a video. Most of the time I'm live streaming, but I just had this perfect idea, and I couldn't really concentrate in the live stream to make this video, you know, because you're playing the game live, so I just had to make a video for it today. But again, we're going to get into it, guys, so thank you so much. Love ya. See you in the video. Alrighty, guys, so basically, the video that you're seeing in the background, the gameplay in the background, is some Thanos gameplay, some fucking Infinity Gauntlet gameplay, or whatever you want to call it, and it is a Skybase win against the big purple bastard himself. So basically, you know, this is probably patched by now. I haven't checked any of the patch notes, or if there is even any patch notes, I haven't checked any of the patch notes, so hopefully it has been patched, but if not, you know, we meme stratting it all all up and down the streams in the next live stream. But basically, guys, the west side of the map, I mean, it is very stacked at the moment, right? It's got Shifty Shafts, and it's got fucking Tilted Towers, Pleasant Park, Haunted Hills, you know, it's got up in the very top, you got Junk Junction, you got Snobby Shores. Yeah, down in the lower half, you have Greasy Grove. But right there, man, right in between Snobby, Tilted, Pleasant, and Greasy, there's like this area where it's got a mountain, you know, it's got the new evil villain base or whatever that they just added in with the most recent patch, and it's got that little football stadium, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people like the football stadium, but here's my idea, guys, right? Take maybe 2 or 3 buildings, maybe 2, probably 2. Take 2 buildings out of Tilted Towers, take maybe a building out of Greasy Grove, get rid of one of the mountains right there, and take away the football pitch, and boom, slap yourself a brand new location, a brand new point of interest right there, and that's where we're calling it the Wild West. Now, I don't know how I can even describe this to you where you wouldn't know what I'm talking about and how badass it would be for the Wild freaking West to be a point of interest in Fortnite. It might be my new main spot to go, honestly, right? So basically, if you know, are any savvy of the Wild West at all, you'd know that they have a church, and they have like a prison, and they have like a schoolhouse, and they have several stores and several houses, and there's dirt roads, and it would just be so awesome, you know. Let me know if you guys have ever like looked into like Wild West kind of history or whatever. But back in the day, man, you could do whatever you wanted, bro. You could be a robber, you could like be a good upstanding person, you could kill someone if you wanted to, because I mean, there was no DNA tracking or whatever. Anyway, we're getting off point, right? I'm just saying the fights here would be absolutely amazing. I'm going to put some pictures up on the screen, of course, of what I'm talking about with the Wild Wild West, right? So most of these houses in the West, you know, when you think about the Wild West, you have several houses, several stores right in a line, right smashed together, because, I mean, why build something like, back in the day, I bet it was hard to actually build things, so they would space it all out so that, they would crunch it all together, so you only had to really build one big-ass house instead of building, like, 10 big-ass houses right next to each other. So basically, it would just be so cool. And all of the buildings were flat up at the top. So it would be like, boom, say you ran into the saloon. Say this was a place, right? Which, I mean, hopefully if we get this tweeted enough at Epic Games, or tweeted enough at somebody that, you know, has enough clout to get it tweeted to Epic Games, they can see what's going on, see that the Wild West would be perfect, right? So basically, to add this place, there'd be a saloon, and say you went into the saloon, there's a chest right there at the bar, there's a bunch of bar tables, maybe a couple of them are knocked over because there have been bar fights, maybe there's a hole in the wall because, you know, back in the Wild West, some people shoot guns, you know, maybe there's bullet holes, so there'd be like bullet holes in the walls, and there'd be like a patch over it, or like a picture's tilted. it would just be so clean, right? So you go into the saloon, and there's a chest on top of, like, the bar. Boom, you open that chest, and you run upstairs to where... They probably have to change this, but basically back in the Wild Wild West, there was a lot of whorehouses, like, without trying to sugarcoat it. You know, there was a lot of whorehouses because, you know, what else was there? What else were you supposed to do in the Wild Wild West? Okay, we're getting off topic. Yeah, you go upstairs and there'd be a couple rooms with a couple beds, maybe a little velvety in there, you know what I'm saying? And then there'd be some chests, some stuff in there, and that would be actually just incredible to see. It would be such a cool location, in my opinion, to have, like, and then you come out of that building, or maybe you just build through the wall, like take out your pickaxe and build through the wall, and boom, you're in, like, a shop, you know what I'm saying, with, like, I don't know how the shops worked back in the day, but, like, it would just be so cool. You walked in, and there's some more, like, Old West kind of stuff. Maybe you build through that wall, or go outside, or get to the top of the building, and you can see across to the houses, because if you see any pictures, I'm going to put some pictures on the screen as well. If you see any pictures of these Old West style, like, towns, they have a bunch of, like, they have one side of the town has, like, the town hall, the prison, the shops, a hotel, the saloon, and then the other side of the town might have some more stores and maybe a few houses, and then right next to the town, there's where everybody lives. So it's like, it would be so perfect, and everything's flat, you know what I'm saying? So nobody's, there's maybe some mountains off in the distance. It would just be such a perfect location. Like, if you're looking at the pictures that I'm putting up on screen right now, I hope that you can see that this would be the coolest thing in Fortnite. It would be so cool. You could, like, walk up to the bar, you know what I'm saying? And maybe in the bar, there's old-timey Western music playing. You know how Fortnite is with their dope-ass beats. They could add all kinds of stuff. Maybe they could add, like, a lasso, like, style fucking emote, and then it would just be perfect. And I've been waiting for a cowboy skin since the beginning of Fortnite, you know what I mean? It would just be a perfect location. It would be a perfect fucking place, you know, already has the best alliteration there is, and it would just be, I don't know, man, I don't know why they haven't done it already. Maybe the Wild West is copyrighted or something, but they got the saloon, and they got, you know, they got the saloon mixed with a whorehouse. You know, I'm just looking at these pictures right now of Wild West towns, but they got a cantina and a prison and like 2 houses, and everything's kind of crooked back then because nobody knew. I mean they knew, but nobody was really, like, savvy with building stuff, you know what I'm saying? So everything was just so real back in the day. Now everything's perfectly measured, perfectly, like, placed, perfectly everything. So it would be just such a cool place where everything's kind of broken, you know, because it's Old West time. Back in the Old West, you could, and maybe here's another idea that I had too. So say you went into the like the jail of the Wild West point of interest. There'd be, like, these wanted posters, these bounty posters for, like, say the Omega, and these would change weekly. So right, so say if you killed an Omega, boom, that poster for you would disappear because you fucking, it's like a wanted poster, right? And it says, like, 100,000 V-Bucks or blah, blah, blah. I mean, of course you wouldn't get these V-Bucks because, you know, they got to make that paper. But say there was, like, you know, these wanted posters for the Omega, Sash Sergeant, fucking Snorkel Ops. Next week, you got stuff for, like, Shadow Ops, and then, like, it would just be so cool. It would be so clean, and then it would just be so cool. I'm gushing a little bit because I'm looking at these pictures. I'm gonna put them up on the video as well, but, you know, you could run up the staircases, run up the ladders, get to the very top of, say, the saloon, snipe someone who's in the schoolhouse, you know, and you could have so much stuff going on, right? So you could have, like, the schoolhouse from... Have you guys ever watched Holes? I don't know if you've ever watched Holes, but they have a schoolhouse in Holes, you know, and it would be just a cool addition. You go in there, you see some desks, you see maybe a pencil sharpener stuck in the wall, and you could kill someone in the schoolhouse, you know. And then they have, like, the church. They always got the church, right? With and the churches back in the day, they weren't crazy churches like they have now. They were, like, one building. It was usually the tallest building in the town. You walked in, there's a bunch of benches, and then where the priest stands in the very back. And it would just be such a cool location, right? So say you're coming off Tilted, or say you just, no, let's say you're coming off Tilted and you're trying to rotate into Snobby Shores, you know what I'm saying? And this would fit perfectly too as well, because I feel like not a lot of the ring goes to Snobby Shores ever. So if you're running from Snobby, say you land at Snobby, right? And the ring is the very edge of the ring that you have to get to is just past Tilted. You have to get, like, say, you have to loot one house and then go, really. Because in Snobby Shores, and I land at Snobby Shores very often, it's hard to loot that area, the whole area, and then go before the ring forces you out, because the ring hates Snobby Shores. Same thing with, like, Lucky Landing and everything like that. But basically, Lucky Landing's in a different situation, though, because just above Lucky Landing is Fatal Field. So you can loot, like, a few houses at Lucky Landing, the ring starts moving, so you run through Fatal Fields, you get some of the chests, and then boom, you go to the next area that's directly in front of Fatal Fields. I think it's, like, close to Salty Springs. But basically, Snobby Shores, if you have to run straight, you have nowhere to go through. I mean, you have, like, the football area, right? The football pitch, or whatever it's fucking called, the thing in the middle, between Snobby Shores and Tilted Towers, but there's really not that much loot there. There's a few chest spawns, there's a few gun spawns, and that's really it. There might be a vending machine, but that's really it. Then you have people coming from, like, Haunted Hills who have looted Haunted Hills and Pleasant Park, and you get pinched from those people and Greasy Grove. But if there was another point of interest right there, this is just blowing my mind how perfect this is. But if there was another point of interest right there, right at the football pitch, called Wild West, and it had several chest spawns and several loot spawns, these people coming from this whole area would be able to have a middle ground to fight at, instead of just shooting or getting caught out in the open. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, you have your building, and if you're a good enough builder, you can build. But then you're like, oh, there's building right there. You know what I'm saying? It's very obvious that there's someone there building. But if there's a point of interest there with some towns, you can go into a house. You can get to the top of the house. You can build on top of the house. And then kind of watch from each direction. You know what I'm saying? It would be like a very middle ground location. You know what I mean? Like all the armies of Tilted Towers and Pleasant Park and Snobby Shores would come there to fight, you know? And it would just be so cool, man. It would be such a cool location. Let me know what you guys think, of course, down in the comment section below. If you think this would work, if you think it wouldn't work, maybe the location's a little bit off. Maybe you could have it a little bit lower so that people would have more of a inclination to go to, like, Greasy Grove. Like, because nobody's really going Greasy at the moment, even though Greasy's my boy at the moment. I love me some Greasy. But, yeah, it would give a lot of people a good reason to go to Greasy Grove, because you could go to Greasy Grove if you don't want to land at the really high maintenance Wild West. You can go to Greasy Grove, get yourself a few guns, get yourself some potion, maybe have a few fights, and then work your way toward Wild West, you know, and then have some fights at the saloon and kill someone at the prison. You know, there would be another prison. It'd be kind of an interesting thing too, because you could add another. It would be more like a jailhouse, because you know how in those old Wild West movies, if you've ever seen them, they have like the lazy sheriff that that always falls asleep and lets his prisoners escape. You know what I'm saying? If you've ever watched an old Western movie, that's how it usually goes. But I'm just thinking that, like, it's perfect alliteration, right? All the other towns, Tilted Towers, Retail Row, Dusty Divot, then you have stuff like Anarchy Acres, Fatal Fields, they all start with F, and then the second word starts with F. Wild West has been in alliteration for like 40 or 100 years or something like that. It was like the first alliteration. So it's literally perfect. Epic Games, I think you're really sleeping on this location. I mean, they took Haunted Hills, which is, let's be real, that's a pretty sick name as well. But it's nothing compared to freaking Wild West, man. Wild West is the cleanest idea ever. I don't know if anybody else has ever had this idea. I was just talking with my girlfriend recently and was thinking to myself, dude, what if there was like a Western location? We could call it the Wild West. You know, it had a saloon, it had everything. And she was like, that is a great idea. So I've literally been hyped for like 3 days trying to figure out how I'm going to sit down and make this video. So I just took today to make this video. I'm going to and get it out to everybody and see what you guys think. Hopefully we can get this tweeted at, you know, at least someone that can actually get it toward Epic Games' eye, or maybe they can even be like, oh, look, you know, say Ninja sees this or whatever, and he'd be like, hey, Epic Games, this dude had a great idea, let's get this shit in the map, you know what I mean? If he even has any say over there at Epic Games or whatever. Most of the things that Ninja says, though, usually have a tendency to become fucking rules in the game, not gonna lie. But, Wild West, guys. Wild West. Let me know if you guys have any other cool ideas. I was thinking of, like, maybe, my girlfriend actually had this idea, but it was like a beach location on the east side of the map with, they just get rid of the, like, get rid of the racetrack kind of area, that little area, and turn that whole section into a beach, you know, and then you'd be running through and it would sound like you were on sand and there'd be like volleyball courts. But basically this video is about a Wild West location, and it's actually shocking that it's not in the game yet. I just feel like it's one of the best ideas, you know, but it is my idea. So if there's any flaws, if you see some flaws in my idea, make sure you're letting me know, because I want to know what you guys think, you know. If you're like, no, that's retarded, that would never work, then let me know in the comments. And if you're like, oh, that's a great idea, you know, also let me know. But let's hear some criticisms, you know what I'm saying? I'm always open to criticisms. And as we defeat Thanos here, as we skybase Thanos to death here, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Again, if you made it this far into the video, to the very end of the video, put your favorite color in the comment section and your favorite spot to land in Fortnite. But love you guys. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Stay cool.